Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you here. A very special evening this evening, recognizing people that deserve to be recognized. We'll take that in a few seconds. At this point in time, it is 5 o'clock on Monday, April 14th, 2025, and I am calling the regular Wausau District Board meeting to order. Ms. Beck, please call roll.
Sarah Brock.
Here.
John Kreischer. Pat McKee.
Here.
Jennifer Paoli. Joanna Reyes.
Here.
Jane Roosh.
Yes.
Corey Sillers.
Here.
Lance Trollope.
Here.
Jim Boucher.
Here. Please stand with me. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. My pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is the mission of the Wausau School District to advance student learning, achievement, and success. With that, this is the time I'm going to talk about the success. Madeline Mugler from Wausau West and Trevor Doring from Wausau East are two outstanding students who played a critical role in the design of our recent three-day summit, Community Conversation, Bridging the Future of the Wausau School District. Together, they helped plan and organize so many of the details and truly elevated the experience for those in attendance. Their creativity, drive, and commitment transformed this event into a resounding success, and for that, we're forever grateful. And with that, I'd like to read a couple of resolutions here. We'll do that first. Should we go with the reading of the resolution, or should we go with the vote? The motion? Okay. Let's start with the motion. I'm seeking a motion to approve Trevor Doring to receive a resolution of commendation.
Second.
We got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I am seeking a motion to approve Madeline Mudler to receive the resolution of commendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And with that, we'd like to give a couple of plaques out and have some pictures taken. So if you don't mind, I will get in the front here, and Mr. Bushman and I will take pictures with you. We're going to take it so that we have this behind us, but first of all, nice job. Excellent job. This one. Trevor. Very well. Appreciate it. These two did a tremendous job. I will say that off the cuff right now for what they did, bringing and working with all the people in the community. We greatly appreciate what you had done. It was a fun few days. Thank you. Mr. Bushman, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have any comments you'd like to make about those evenings and about what these two young people did?
Absolutely.
I just put you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting as we were planning. We talked with both of them and said, during this community conversation, you're going to have all kinds of community members who come in, and as soon as you talk, everybody's going to stop and they're going to listen to everything that you have to say because you are the expert. What was amazing about these two is in the planning process, we didn't ask them to take the lead in it. They just chose to. So they came to one of our planning sessions. They had a presentation ready to be delivered, some ideas that they had, some props that they wanted to go with it. And they did an amazing job in leading. And I think to myself, if I were a junior in high school, I don't know if I'd have the courage to be up in front of that many people leading as they led, but they did it. And it's amazing. And it's just a testament to the great students and young adults that we have in our district. So I was so thankful for them to be part of it.
Well done. And I can only say that I would concur with you in the fact of dealing with juniors for over 40 some years. you two did a very, very good job. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you. One more time. With that, moving to the next agenda item, I would like to recognize speakers and students who wish to make public comments. But before we do, here are a couple of reminders that I always like to make sure that I have.
Excellence in action first.
Oh, correct. That's right. Yeah. Backpedal. We're going to make sure that we have our presentation by Miss Laura Simonson, principal at Maine, to give us some information about what's happening at that school.
Thank you very much for the invitation to come and celebrate things that are happening at Maine. I would say that all three of these students that I brought along would very much be earning that commendation someday too. So, I am Laura Simonson, principal at Maine. This is Olivia, Macy, Royce, and Mrs. Swyander, Amy Swyander, who is our safety patrol leader for our school. So if you want to start, this is a group of all of our kids. There is a presentation behind you, oh, you're looking at it there, sorry. So these are all the kids.
What is a safety patrol? What is a patroller? A patroller is a 5th grade student that is selected to help keep the students safe at Maine Elementary. Safety patrollers often support to students during drop-off time in the morning, lunch support for our K through 2 students, bus support at the end of the day.
How do you become a patroller? To become a safety patroller, you have to submit an application including 2 reference signatures. Students that are showing leadership qualities consistently are then selected to become a safety patroller at Maine Elementary.
Our posts are morning patrol, lunch patrol, and bus patrol. Now we have a couple videos to help you learn more about our patrollers.
And before she clicks to the next one, you're gonna see all their posts and they're gonna tell you more information. But these 3, we brainstormed some things that would be great that we think the board would like to hear, and then they went off and created all these videos. They had a title slide, some of them have music, they snipped them and edited them, so I received 7 little videos, so they were amazing.
Morning patrol. So, one of the most important things in morning patrol is opening car doors. Because if they don't open car doors, littles might not be able to get out. Lunch patrol. Station 1 is where you give the kids their silverware. Station 2 is where you make sure the kids put their cards away and remind them to get their selfies. Station 3 and 4 is where you walk around the kindergarten tables and make sure you answer their questions and help them. Station 5 is where you walk around the first grade table and answer their questions. Station 6 is where you walk around the second grade tables and answer their questions. One of the patrollers opens the door for the little kids. All patrollers help clean tables. Stations 5 and 6 take down the cold lunch bins to their classroom.
Evening bus patrol.
What do you want?
Right now, the patroller is walking down the aisle, calling the bus number and gathering the kids. The patroller helps each kid get in the line and on the bus. Doing this is really easy for the kids to board the correct bus and make it on time.
How do the patrollers?
Why do you think safety patrollers are helpful for your class?
Safety patrollers are great role models for us littles down in kindergarten. So not only do they get to see how to do things the correct way, but they're also seeing older students and maybe they could be safety patrols someday.
Well, here at Maine, safety patrollers have several jobs. In the morning, they help the little kids get safely out of the vehicles, making sure they stay on the right side of the vehicle and either going to the playground or coming inside. In the lunchroom, they really help the little kids by helping them get forks and knives and opening up their milk, right? And then at the end of the day, they help the little kids get on the buses and make sure they get on the correct bus and in the correct bus line.
The first graders, I teach first grade, and they are just always so excited to see the safety patrollers, whether it's in the hallway or in the lunchroom, and they really serve as an inspiration to them because they're always saying, I want to do that, I want to do that. So it's always great when those fifth graders are serving as role models so that my first graders know what they can aim for once they become class.
Safety patrollers are really helpful for our second graders. They help bring down the lunch bins so we're prepared for lunchtime. And they also lead the bus lines at the end of the day to guide our second graders to where they need to be.
What do safety patrollers do? Presented by the Littles.
What do you like about safety patrollers?
I like when they open our mouth.
When I help you.
Opening some I like that they help people.
What is a safety patroller?
Someone that helps little kids. Somebody who helps kids. Somebody who protects kids. I'll be over here and say the bus number. Somebody who makes sure you don't get hurt.
Someone that can help you out.
Someone that helps the little kids.
Why do patrollers like their jobs?
What do you like about safety patrol?
What I like about safety patrol is that we get to help the little kids.
Safety patrol.
I like that I can meet new kids, and it's very exciting because you can go to the park. I like hanging out with the kids. They're super cute.
At safety patrol is that you can be a help to the school and you can help every little thing.
Probably meeting all the kids.
Meeting the kids at lunch patrol and hanging out.
I like that I get to help the little kids and I kind of make them feel safer. I like helping the kids.
Rewards.
One reward the patrollers get is they get to go to a Milwaukee Bucks game. At the game, they get to participate in fun activities.
What patrollers get is they get to go to a pop concert. After the pop concert, they will get a pizza party that includes juices, cookies, and chips.
So as you can see, they did a great job editing with a spice of humor at the end of a couple clips. So Do you have any questions for them?
I will just make one comment. Safety seems to be in good hands at Maine, that's for sure. So with that, any other board members?
Back in some of our days, they used to send a safety patroller or two to Washington, D.C. every year. Do they still do that?
No.
They don't do that.
Yeah, the funding has disappeared for some of those items. Yeah, the police department had a really good lady who fundraised for
Yeah.
that, and she was able to get lots of money, and then she retired, and that wasn't really taken over by someone else. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Thank you.
Yes, that was awesome.
Good job.
Thank you for being with us today. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, now I can go forward with speakers to the group. For those who are speaking to the board, I just want to remind you that please identify yourself by name and state your address. And each statement will be for 3 minutes, and Ms. Peck will have that on the timer. So, starting with Mr. Leclerc, Dick Leclerc.
I thought I was going to come at the end. But
There's a mic up there.
the mic up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That way we can hear you.
I've been accused of being too loud. I'm Dick Leclerc. I started my career teaching science at the old Wausau Senior High in 1966. In 1969, I transferred to West High and finished my career there. That's just where I come from. What I really want to talk to you about is the schools that you're abandoning. We live directly across the street from Franklin School. We were terrified that you might close it, and it would be turned into another multi-high-rise, expensive apartment for elderly rich people. The apartment buildings that the city of Wausau is having developed in recent years are too high for children to run up and down stairs. There's no play areas. There's underground parking, and there are vacancy signs in front of them. Now they're going to build a parking lot. They're building a parking lot in the corner of Stewart and First Avenue with a railroad track right alongside of it. Some of the apartments are designed to be 3 bedrooms. Nobody's going to live there with small children, especially when the deepest part of the Wisconsin River is right out the back door. We're losing enrollment in our schools because there are no places for young families. And young families, when my family was young, we rented. We couldn't afford a down payment on a house. But we're losing those rental properties. I have a written letter that I left. You have it. Oh, okay. That'll tell you most of what I'm concerned about. We're losing rental property by tearing it down and building high-rise apartments. These schools can be converted to apartments, not like East High was. At East High, they turned it into fancy apartments for wealthy people. I live across the street from Franklin School, which is right near East High, the old East High. When we walk or drive past it, I never see children playing on the lawn. There's no safety, for a playground play area for children. There aren't even bicycle racks. It's expensive apartments for adults. I'd like to urge you to take the schools you are closing and convert them to apartments. You don't have to do it, but find a buyer who will do it. An elementary school like Franklin School, you have classrooms in a row. You could take 2 classrooms in a row and you can convert that to one apartment very easily at a minimum cost. And young families with young children can afford to rent something like that and repopulate our schools.
Thank you.
When a kid has to go to elementary school in DC Everest District, they'll stay there at the secondary school too.
Thank you very much for that, your input. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for the letter that you put together as well.
If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.
Dana, I'll just turn it over to you.
Hi, everybody. We are in the home stretch, right? Just a couple of things just to update you on our WEA connection. We continue to have our collaboration with Kale and John and Josh and Tabitha to keep that communication going between administration and our teaching staff. We've been full of lots of great ideas for what needs to happen with the consolidation and how to make that easier on staff, students, families. We'll continue to do that until we do it right and into the fall. And then the last thing, fun thing, we have, I believe, 13 teachers that are part of WEA that are retiring, and so we will have our retirement celebration on June 4th. Location has been changed because the Whitewater is no longer available to us, but you'll be getting an invite to join us to celebrate their accomplishments. So that's it. Thank you.
That's going to be your on the corner real quickly.
We got to get through forward testing first, so.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 9, consent agenda, appointments, additional staff, replacement staff, contract increases, separations, resignations, contract decreases, terminations, leaves of absence, retirements, minutes, regular session of March 10th, 2025, and special session of March 17th, 2025. Payment of bills, budget status, and investment report, canvassing statement, school board member salaries, and donations to the district. Donations are Connexus Credit Union, Cousins Subs, First Presbyterian Church, Quick Trip 1723, Papa John's, Stephen and Wendy Fox, Jane Johnson, Catherine Mueller, Norland Incorporated, Wisco Corporation Association, Clemens Insurance Agency, the Dirks Group, Metal Products, Norland Incorporated, O'Malley Automotive, Allen and Sue Tetzloff, and Wisconsin State Golf Association Foundation Incorporated. I'm seeking a motion to approve the consent agenda with great gratitude for donations to the district.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 10, old recurring business, Education Operations Committee meeting. There is none for this evening. Agenda item 11, ACP approval. Presentation is to review the 2025 Wausau School District Education for Employment and Academic Career Planning. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Winter.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm John Winter. I am the Career and Technical Education Coordinator in the district, and I'm representing the district academic career planning team. And I will be presenting the 2025 Wausau School District ACP plan. If you recall, in the fall, I kind of gave an overview of it in the fall, and what I would like to do tonight is go through this presentation on behalf of our team and behalf of our district, and we are seeking approval of the plan. So with that, I will jump in. Gotcha. Okay. So as an overview of the ACP plan, what I would like to do, and there's a document with a lot more details and a lot more data in the plan. So what I've done is kind of pulled out some of the highlights in this presentation. But this is a requirement of DPI PI 26. It's called Education for Employment. And what we did is we used the ACP guide that is provided by DPI and put the plan together. The presentation will include student success stories, ACP data points, some innovative pathway information about the district, and then our goals and future direction, as well as our ACP team. So first, student success stories. I've got a couple of them that I just wanted to spotlight. This is Bodie Beversdorf. He's a senior at Wausau East. He is currently a 2-year youth apprenticeship student with Myron Construction, and Bodie's a 2-sport athlete with a 3.8 grade point average. His career plan is to take his youth apprenticeship experience and ladder it right into an adult apprenticeship. He's going to be able to use the credits that he earned here in high school in the YA program, and basically similar to like a dual credit program, would be able to accomplish some of those credits in his adult apprenticeship because of what he did in the high school. Inspired through some of his related coursework in metals, woods, building trades, and automotive. So he's going to continue with Myron Construction after high school. The next student, Emilio Velasquez from Wausau West, is a student that took a variety of different classes in Project Lead the Way, accounting, marketing, and advanced marketing. He was elected the vice president of DECA at Wausau West. He wrote a 60-page report and was awarded the Wisconsin DECA Gold Student Award, which is pretty impressive. Participated in soccer, National Honor Society, and he had a job for 2 years working at Men's Warehouse. His career plan is to go to a 4-year school at UW La Crosse and major in digital marketing. Third student is Bram Bina. Bram Bina was inspired through his coursework in pre-calculus chemistry, participated in Science Olympiad with Mr. Nelson, theater production, involved in soccer, wrestling, link crew, pretty much everything over there at Wausau West. But his story is unique in that he's enlisted into the U.S. Navy and was recently awarded an award that's going to provide him the financial support as he pursues the nuclear engineering program in the U.S. Navy. Very, very impressive accomplishment. And then the last student success story is Bobby Joe Zimick. Bobby Joe completed the Project Life program, and she got a fresh start by securing a job out at Rib Mountain at the Goodwill. And this is a program, it's an impactful program that helps individuals with disabilities gain valuable job experiences and prepares them for employment after high school. So there's also a video, if you have a little time, go out and check out that video. It's a great little video on her. So. Okay, so the next part of the plan is around the data that we used as an ACP team. We took a look at, this slide represents our senior survey that we give our students through the counseling department right before they graduate. And good information to know that at Wausau West, 56% of the students at Wausau West go on to a 4-year school, 17 go to a 2-year school. 13% of them enter the workforce, 5% in the military, and 9% were undecided. At Wausau East, 52% of our students are going to a 4-year school, 19% to a 2-year, 21% go into the workforce or a training program, 3% into the military, and 5% were undecided. A couple other interesting data points. We have 191 students in a work-based learning program. So work-based learning includes youth apprenticeship, marketing internship, business opportunities. Anytime we have students that are receiving work release hours, but also the classroom portion of it where they're getting support in learning employability skills, resume writing, cover letters, and there is in most cases, it's a business education teacher that's working directly with those students, going out on the work site, visiting with employers, connecting our students with them, sometimes helping them find the job. We have 191 students in a work-based learning program. 168 students earn an industry recognized credential. So for example, Microsoft Office, CNAs, we have certifications where students are earning construction certifications in the Brotherhood, Union Brotherhood. Also, our youth apprenticeship students are included in that number. We have 466 students total enrollments in dual credit classes. One area that we have huge success in is our what I call our CTSOs, our Career and Technical Student Organizations. So that's your DECA, FFA, FCCLA. I think I missed one there. HOSA is another one. Educators Rising is a CTSO. We have a lot of kids participating in those clubs. And then the last one is total enrollments in our AP and IB classes, 704 students. This is new data that we are getting from Lindsay Ludholz. It's our MRA data. And so this is interesting. We're going to start looking at this a little bit more, but what it does is it asks our students questions about life readiness and future focus. And it asks questions like, in the future, do you believe you'll have a sense of purpose in the work that you do? Do you believe that you'll have a career that uses your strengths? Do you believe that you get past barriers to reach your goals in the future? And so I think that's important data and information that we'll know more about our students that can help along the way. So moving forward, this will be some data that we look at too. The next section is innovative pathways in the Wausau School District. So thinking about like what are we doing kind of unique in our district to offer career opportunities for our students. First one, you've heard about the robotic arm in the past with some of our partnerships in manufacturing. We have a FANUC robot, but we have a sequence of classes where students can take Fab Lab 1, Fab Lab 2, and if it's something they really like and want to pursue, we have a robotics and automation class that we just brought on board. The second one is Aviation 101. That's a rather unique offering that we have through our WAVE school. Students can take Aviation 101, receive the curriculum, and then through our partnership with Wausau Flying Service, they are receiving instruction with certified flight instructors to prepare them for a knowledge and skills exam for their first assessment around getting your pilot's license. So that's pretty unique, and we're having pretty amazing results in that one particular class. Auto collision is a specific class that we partner with NTC as well as WATIA, Wisconsin Automotive Truck Education Association. So we offer an auto collision class from 4 to 8 in our shop at Wausau East. It's taught by an NTC instructor and supported through WATIA, and they help support through the tuition cost for students. Very specific, kind of unique, but a rather big need in our community. Math and construction trades. So we have a sequence of classes there as well with building trades 1, 2, and then math and construction. And math and construction is where students can earn their math credit as well as an elective credit. And it's unique because we have our tech ed teacher teaching alongside our math teacher. I was just over at Wausau East, and we had our math teacher out there working with our students out in the yard, building the structures for the mini house. So that's been a really great experience all around. And you heard about Project Life on the previous slide. And then the last one is a new opportunity through DPI. It's called the Seal of Biliteracy Certifications, where students that complete a sequence of foreign language classes and pass, I believe it's an assessment, can receive the DPI seal of biliteracy certification. So Libby White shared that with me, and it's another awesome pathway that students have available to them. Okay, so the next couple slides have more to do with scope and sequence and what are we actually doing with ACP at the elementary level, at the middle school, and at the high school. So at the elementary school, our counseling department is delivering grade level appropriate career readiness lessons and using Leader in Me lessons aligned with Wisconsin social emotional learning competencies. A lot of the things we're doing at the elementary level, fourth grade Food for America, they're watching videos and learning what are career clusters, what are careers. There's a read aloud on careers, there's problem solving and critical thinking, and then there's a book and an activity. So our counselors are the ones that are delivering that curriculum at the elementary school. In our middle school, that's where students are learning about Zello. And Zello is the software, it's the career exploratory software that our state DPI provides all districts. And so we have a set curriculum 6 through 8 that our middle schools are working through. And so in that software, students are able to take matchmaker assessments, time management, explore career matches, doing different interest surveys, personality surveys, things like that. And then a lot of the field trips and activities that are taking place in middle school. So heavy metal tour for all 8th graders happens in October. We just last Friday sent all of our 6th and 7th graders to the STEM Fest out at NTC in partnership with Michigan Tech, where students explore a variety of different STEM activities. There's a lot of them. There's probably over 50 different activities that our 6th and 7th graders participated in on Friday. So really awesome experience. Different things like Engineering Tomorrow. So focused on our engineering pathway. Junior achievements delivering not only financial literacy lessons, but entrepreneurship and career exploration in our middle schools, along with just our elective classes that students have available to them, such as culinary, manufacturing, business classes at the middle school level. Those are just a couple pictures. The 2 pictures on the right and left are from the STEM Fest, and then the middle picture is a picture of a group that attended the heavy metal tour in the fall. So, and then at high school, that's where our students are really putting together a plan and hitting the road and making it happen. That's where the action really picks up. So one of the things, the way we structure in the high school and in most districts is our pathways, and that's some of the work I do with our Carl Perkins funding, but we're organized in those pathways, and in a pathway you have to have a sequence of classes, offer work-based learning opportunities, industry recognized credentials, dual credits, and CTSOs. So that's what an endorsed pathway is. A little earlier I checked how many pathways do we have in the district that are regionally endorsed pathways, and the answer is 11. We have 11 pathways that have been endorsed by the state. So we have full pathways. The other things that we're doing at the high school level, we call career-based learning experiences, and you can see the list is long. There's a lot going on at the high school level, everything from classroom speakers, many different tours, career fairs, different career-related projects, part-time and summer job opportunities along with job shadows. Different volunteer and service learning is happening. I mentioned CTSOs. We have a school store experience for students where they're picking up employability skills, learning customer service skills. Supervised agricultural experiences are happening at both high schools along with our internships and work-based learning. So many things to share with you of what's happening in our schools around ACP. Okay, just a short list here of different things and different ways in which we're engaging our families. So First of all, families have access to Zello, career fairs and student achievement nights, art shows, cafes, plant sales, FAFSA nights. We had Warrior Welcome Night, parent-teacher conference nights, obviously. We host advisor and advisee nights at both high schools, family ACP presentations at the middle school, and junior parent night is one more example of family engagement. An area where we're always trying to grow, we're always trying to be innovative on how we can offer more information to our families and get them engaged as much as we possibly can. And then I wanted to spotlight our counseling department because we lean on our counselors to share so much with our students and provide the support. But I wanted to spotlight the fact that both high school counseling departments have great websites with a ton of information on ACP. Our counselors are meeting with students individually at 10th grade. They both have dedicated space for this. It's called the Career Center, and it's staffed with a Career Center coordinator that is always willing and ready to help our students and support them in many of the things that are listed, whether that be finding a job, financial aid, maybe they don't know what they want to major in, maybe they're interested in the military. College admission is a big process that they need help navigating, and so that's what our career centers and our counseling department is doing. Just a couple pictures of our ACP events at the high school. The upper left one is the last time Wausau West, about 3 years ago, held the career fair. Taking trips down to Greenhack, Great Lakes Cheese, Aspirus, out to NTC's robotics lab, and different leadership conferences and events that we're taking students to. So moving forward, we have two goals. The first goal is really just to continue to increase awareness of career-connected learning with students, staff, and our community. How will we do that? By taking a look at the different MRA data, senior survey, some of the Zello usage data. So Zello also offers us the ability to kind of look at how are our students using the software. What are some of the results of like our matchmaker assessments? How many kids are actually saying they're going to major in this or they're interested in this survey? So taking a look at some of the data of Zello can be very helpful in helping us decide like where do we really want to focus? Where are some of the gaps with some of that information? So expanding partnerships to increase student career exposure to local career opportunities is always something we're continuing to build. And then next year in 2026, Wausau West is going to be the host of the Greater Wausau Youth Hiring and Career Fest. And then in 2027, Wausau East will be the host. So goal number 2 is to integrate career-connected learning in all subject areas. So what does that look like? You know, as departments, we can take a look at what is our scope and sequence and our standards right now that we're currently delivering, but then also pulling in the Wisconsin Career Readiness Standards and taking a look at how can we embed career literacy within what we're currently doing and connecting the dots for our students. So, and then also finding that dedicated time to be able to work on some of the academic career planning within our own curriculum. So those are 2 things that our ACP team identified as things that we want to work on moving forward. And this is our team right now. We meet usually once a month, either in person or virtually. And they've been they represent all of our buildings at the secondary level right now, as well as Longfellow. So, and I think that group will probably grow in the future as well. So, with that, I would be happy to answer any questions regarding academic career planning.
I'm sure if there are no questions, there's going to be a lot of comments. Anyone, starting with whomever, we'll go around. To start on the left. Here we go, Sarah.
So the survey that you did with the kiddos, I'm assuming that was seniors, looking at what their plan was the next year, so 4-year college, 2-year college, things like that. Do you guys do any follow-up longitudinal data to find out if that's actually what they do and graduation rates and success rates and things like that?
So through some of my work with the Carl Perkins grant, that's some of the requirements of that grant is we do some follow-ups, but the problem with that particular piece of data is it's really focused on what we call CTE concentrators. And a CTE concentrator is a student that takes 2 or more classes in the same pathway. So it's limited, it's a small snapshot. I'm not aware of a full follow-up survey once they graduate.
Corey, comment? Anything? No? Lance?
Yeah, I don't have any questions on improving this one, but I'm just wondering what the requirements are ongoing for you from DPI. I know you gave us the heads up that this was going to be put together. Do you have to update it every year? What happens with it?
The ACP plan needs to be approved by Board of Education every year.
We do that in the beginning. On this side? Jane? No.
And just to that point too is, so that's one of the reasons too why I put that document together, so we can kind of use that as our working document and build off of it as we go forward too, and we can review that every year.
I'm hoping that the DPI continues to expect districts to do that, because it does give us board members an understanding when you can bring that data forward. I was just making some notes here, John, and so many times we hear from the community, well, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing this? And I'm saying, check it out. Do we have one place that people can go to on the website so that we have a dashboard for all of the questions? Because I look at Project Lead the Way, I look at Carl Perkins, I take a look at all those different things. And you gave us so much data that I could have said, we can go another couple hours. I'd like to hear about, what we're doing. Because so many people, unfortunately, don't know what we're doing. And for whatever reason, Diana, communication is the key to everything. How do we get that out to our community? Because this is fantastic. This is a fantastic presentation. When I was looking at it earlier, thinking, this answers all the questions that people would have. We just need to make sure that we get that information to the people that want to know. So,
I appreciate you bringing it up, Jim, because one of the things I maybe skipped over was one of the requirements is not only board approval of the plan, but to publish it on the website. So all of this information, that document too, I'll work with communication department to make sure all of that information is also posted on the website. We have an academic career plan tab on our website to be able to share all of that information. And that's part of the requirement of it.
And I think it should be known to the community and to all of us that ACP's been around for a while. That whole process with DPI has been around, and we just need to make sure we get that information out to our community, because so many times, I take a look at what we're offering now, John. You've done a tremendous job leading the team to get to the point where we have aviation, automotives, robotics. You go right down the line. We have everything that a student would want to go into. We have it here for an offering. So tremendous job. I could give you a lot more praises, but I'm going to stop right there. Thank you. Too bad we have to move on to another agenda. I'm sorry, I get a little excited about the curriculum, what we have going on here. I just think it's important that we get that information out.
Taking action.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeking a motion to align with Administrative Rule PI 26.04 to approve the Wausau School District 2025 Education for Employment, E4E, and the Academic Career Plan, ACP. Any further comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Tremendous. Next item, budget. And I'm going to turn this over to Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Josh Vergoot, who provide the board with a brief timeline for budget adoption, timeline overview, etc. No action, but a lot of information.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as you said, no action. We're just wanted to give some information. We've received a number of questions about budget timeline after the results of the referendum, so we wanted to come and talk to you about that. Uh-oh, Cassie, you might have to flip for me. Thank you. So we'll just walk through the current budget projection that we've already looked at. What is the timeline for budget adoption? And it will be the same as every other year, but what does that look like? Along with some other considerations for the budget. So this is very small print, but this is that budget forecast. We've been looking at the current year actual numbers and then forecasting 5 years out. So you can see that on the surplus deficit line, kind of right in the middle of the top chart, that next year we're projecting somewhere around $3.7 million budget deficit based on current projections with the assumptions that were built into that budget model. It goes a little higher than that in subsequent years, and that is a yearly deficit. So then when we look at our ending fund balance for those years, which is down on the bottom right, somewhere around $29 million in the current year, going down towards that $10 million number 5 years out. Now, 5-year budget projections, it's a long ways out. I just think it's important to note that our auditors recommend somewhere north of a 25% fund balance, and that's where we're sitting currently, just around there, but that we would fall down to that 10% or lower number near the end of that projection. We have a policy as a district to not fall below 10%, so move on. So this slide looks a little different, but we look at this every year, half dozen times. This is our normal budget adoption calendar. So in May, at the end of May, you'll have committee approval of the initial budget. At this point, that would be kind of a best guess budget. We most likely, probably almost certainly won't have the state budget by that point, so we won't know exactly what our funding will look like. Prior to that May date, we'd like to get together and talk with the board, do a budget workshop, and present a whole bunch of different information to you, and then move forward to the initial budget adoption. We will also bring you a budget reconciliation plan prior to that May adoption date. So that was the day I really wanted to call out in this slide. Everything else will be about the same. In August, we will have a recommendation for the budget and tax levy. And then if you move to the next slide, we will gather more information throughout the fall. More information will become available to us, and we will adopt that final budget near the end of October. So that's the same as recent years. I already mentioned the other considerations. I already mentioned the state budget, and then that we did go to the community and ask for that referendum, and we certainly appreciate everyone who voted. But the referendum did not pass, so now we are looking at what are some other options in terms of what can we do to help balance the budget. So that's all I have for you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Questions?
Yeah, I've got one. Josh, did anybody from the city council reach out asking for clarification on any of the referendum data at all that you recall?
Not
Cale, did
that I recall, no.
Okay. And you mentioned the referendum, so that was kind of my in to my comment. We failed by 350 votes, I think was the number. Yep. Small number, right? And along with you, I respect everybody's vote, regardless of how they voted in favor or not. Everyone has their own personal opinions, and the outcome is what it is. The part that is most troubling to me since the referendum, since the vote, was a message that somebody had sent me, which was a screenshot from a fellow elected official. And this elected official said, and I quote, "I cannot justify giving millions of taxpayer dollars to people that got us into this mess to buy themselves out of it, then say property taxes won't go up, end quote. So my question to this person, it's District 10, Louise Larson, I think is the person from the Wausau City Council, says that the district, who is it? Lou Larson. Do you know what a mess is when it comes to financial acumen and financial discipline? Because the district doesn't have a financial mess. We have a very, very favorable financial position. And when we have other elected officials in this community who I would hope would want to partner with us to strengthen schools, who don't take the time to educate themselves on the current state of our union, the reality of it, which is healthy. Yes, we had to ask for money, but it certainly wasn't a result of a mess that we created. I would offer this. I looked at 5 properties throughout the city of Wausau. 2020, actual property taxes out the door for these 5 properties, ranging anywhere from $153,000 in value to $563,000. 2020, school taxes, $9,400. City taxes, $9,900. City taxes were 5% greater than the district taxes back in 2020. Fast forward to 2024, school taxes on those same properties, $7,998. City taxes, $12,165. 52% variance from 5% 4 years ago, 52% last year. Our taxes, out-of-pocket dollars, have decreased in that time period for those properties 15% in 5 years. Cities have gone up 23%. Someone asked again, and this is an open invitation for Mr. Larson to come and sit down or actually take the time to reach out and educate himself on this. Please explain to us what we could have done differently over the last 5 years that would define what a mess really is. Because we don't have it. We've got our challenges just like everyone else. But when people are going to the polls and they get information and they're reaching out to elected officials to say, hey, what do you think of this? And you have someone like this saying, I can't justify giving millions of dollars to people who got us into this mess to buy their way out of it. All that did is hurt the kids. All it did is hurt the community. And it's willful ignorance like that it sends me over the edge. If somebody would take the time to reach out and actually have the conversation, I'm all for it. And you can debate, and we're not perfect, and point out all the flaws, all ears. I think we all want to get better. But things like this do nothing to improve the community. They do nothing to improve the school district, and they sure as hell don't do anything to improve our partnership with the city. And I will say, I did see Lisa Rasmussen had a very nice comment, very, very supportive after the referendum, which sincerely appreciate. It just goes to show the extremes that we have in other parts of government. Very disappointing, extremely disappointing. I had other words that I was going to say, but I chose to forgive those for tonight.
You refrained very well, Pat.
So,
well done.
Well, I have a much less interesting comment. Although I will add to Pat's and say, for those listening, that one big disadvantage that we have that the city doesn't have is we do have to go ask for money. And the city has not had to ask for money to put itself in the position that you outlined because it can just do it. It just taxes it. We have to ask permission to tax our taxpayers. But that covers that. So on the budget, the 5-year plan, and this goes back to something Jane raised at the prior meeting, and we talked about it a little bit, and I've thought about it since then. I really even more strongly think now that our 5-year plan should include our 5 years of maintenance. And I think it should include it until the budget reconciliation plan comes to us, and you say, part of our budget reconciliation is, we're not going to do this, this, and this. This is how we're gonna cut our $7 million down to $0 is we're gonna, and there might be some years where you say, look, we have to do this, the roof failed. We can't put it off, so we have to do it. So I'd like to see that, and I'm just one board member of 9, but I think it would be helpful to have that on our 5-year plan up until the point where it gets taken off with the reconciliation plan. And the 5-year plan we just recently got was just elementary buildings, but I believe the secondary analysis is happening as we speak. So we will soon have the secondary buildings to add to it as well. And anything we put off that we take out in the budget reconciliation plan now it's on next year's. And so now next year we have to decide, are we gonna do that roof? Are we gonna fix that sidewalk? What are we gonna do? And have that part of the reconciliation process.
Will do.
And I think, just to add to Lance, I saw a lot of heads nodding. So I think the board is totally in agreement, so it's not just one.
But it should be noted that there were 42 operational referenda that failed this year. We were not the only district that went to a referendum. There were approximately 109 questions asked, and I believe 94 districts, and you have 42 that failed. It really is a matter of understanding and really digging in before you make a decision. I think it was stated by Lance while I was gone on my 3-week tour on the radio, where he made a comment that people need to be educated and make educated decisions, and then that's up to the community. And I'm a strong believer in the fact that the community has to make a decision, and that's why we go to a referendum. It's like a survey. Do we get that money or do we not get that money? And then we're going to have to go forward. But then understand what's going to happen if you don't get that money in a referendum, and what's going to happen if you do have the referendum passed. So all of that needs to be put out there. All right. Any other comments?
And I
Jane?
thank Pat for his comments. I'm right there with him. I think that part of the problem is we have so many people that push misinformation because they want what they want. And it's very frustrating, and it's hard to overcome because misinformation can be thrown out in a sentence or two, and to explain it properly can take paragraphs. And it's very frustrating.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Any other comments? Go ahead. Corey.
Keeping the maintenance stuff in people's thought process by keeping it as part of the information packet is a good idea. Can you remind me about when you were thinking we might have to short-term borrow? Was that potentially next year, or was it the following year?
So I will say it's very dependent on the budget we adopt going forward. There's potential that it could be this upcoming year. Okay. And a number of districts do that. Throughout the state, it's not unusual, but you do have to pay interest on that money you borrow. So I'm hopeful that we can adopt a budget that does not require us to do that, but it is possible.
Okay, just wanted to, again, make sure people are realizing that part. My comments about state budget, since our visit for the WAS Day, and then I was in Madison again on April 2nd, some of the senators on joint finance feel that this is going to be a very long process, and they realize that means districts are uninformed. They don't know what's going on. And I said, well, you have to use what you do know, and until the litigation is completed on the 325, you get an extra 325 for whatever students we do have, and use the information that we do have until that time. It's not, real optimistic necessarily, but the ask I kind of have, based upon my conversations, is between Kayla and then Wendy, if you can we were pushing the idea of increasing our special education reimbursement. The pushback on that still this year, as it was last, is the potential of certain districts to over-identify students into that group. Kayla and I spoke about some of the requirements we have and the processes that we use. Any documentation on that process and showing how stringent our documentation process is when we have interviews with the parents and the students and how that works, and helping to educate our assembly people and senators, I think would be a really good tool to have, and a plan on attending the Joint Finance at NTC here coming up on the 29th. And if we have that something together by then, that would be very helpful for me, because I think I'll be able to, even though I believe a couple of you are planning to wait in line at 6 a.m. to be able to actually speak, because I've attended one of these hearings before, and it is a very long day if you actually make it on the list to speak. But I think I might be able to get that to some of the members on the committee regardless if we have that, okay?
Can I offer just a suggestion on that as well, Corey? Not that this is a novel idea, but if, for example, the state increased our special education funding from 30-something% up to 60-something%, that does not incentivize us to over-identify students, because we still lose money on every single student identified. So unless they were to fund us at over 100%, there is never an incentive financially to identify a student as special ed, because once you identify a student as special ed, there are requirements that come along with it that we have to cover, and we only get paid 30-something%. So they could double it to 60-some%. We still lose money every single identification. So if they make that argument, hopefully somebody says, that doesn't make any sense.
I totally understand that part.
I believe you understand it,
right?
But the people making that argument do not, apparently.
The people who get put, my opinion, my perspective, the people who get put on joint finance typically are the ones that have been in that game down there the longest, right? And kind of have a broader base of experience. But some of the other members that'll end up voting on things or can possibly help influence what is in the budget and not, that's our education side, right? To try to get them up to speed, because the rest, they're just representatives. They have normal jobs like the rest of us when they're not in that. So that's the only angle I can see that might be helpful. Otherwise, it's not, I kind of heard limited support of increasing it too far.
That's exactly my little bit of misinformation that needs paragraphs to explain. That is so frustrating. That's a prime example of it.
Well, and after listening to State Senator this past weekend at the directors' meeting down in Madison, I wouldn't count on going up to 60 or 75% for special ed supplementation at all. It doesn't look good, but we can always be hopeful. So,
thanks, Josh.
All right, any other comments? I believe not.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, continuing on. Wisconsin School Nutrition Purchasing Cooperative Agreement, WSNAP. We have a presentation on that.
It was on the last meeting.
Just action. We can take that off, correct?
No, we just have to take action.
We do have to take action. All right, so I'm seeking a motion for approval to continue membership in the Wisconsin School Nutrition Purchasing Cooperative by passing the presented resolution and agreeing to the 2025-26 66.0301 cooperative agreement now.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right. Next item, we are looking at Ms. White presented proposed changes to the 2024-25 school year calendar due to a recent snow day in district. Anything to add to that? Not whatsoever. Okay, I'm seeking a motion for approval to make Thursday, June 5th, a full day of learning for all Wausau School District students, and June 6th, a half day for secondary students only, making Monday, June 9th, the last day for teachers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, continuing on into agenda item number 12. I'm going to start off by asking the board if there are any professional improvements or additions that you have to offer. If not, then I will make one. Wisconsin Association of School Boards will have a new board members meeting on April 22nd at 7 p.m. at Marathon High School. And at this time, I'd like to thank Joanna Reyes for her dedication to the school district for the last 3 years, and thank you very much for what you have done. This would be your last meeting with us, and I can only say thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Thank you everyone for helping me out.
Well, thank you. All right, Corey, legislative report.
Let's see if this is going to stay on. Okay. Again, I was just going to attend the Joint Finance Committee hearing on the 29th and see what we can get done there. Otherwise, I said a few of the senators that we have been discussing budget in general with. One even commented might not show up till October. So again, from district side, everybody's going to be hanging until something comes around a bit. The other couple of things I would like to share, kind of because John had a presentation on this topic, is Wednesday I have the opportunity to attend the very first Build My Future event that was held in the U.S. It's down in Des Moines, Iowa. They have 5,000 students show up to their state fairgrounds. So I'm pretty excited since we managed like 1,200, I think, this last year here in Wausau. So nearly 5 times the students. They have planned Governor Reynolds is supposed to come and participate in one of their award ceremonies with some of the students. So I hope that is as exciting as I think it is. And spoke with John about a couple things that the Wausau District has to offer to help out the Wausau builders at the event this year, this September. So hopefully we can make that happen as well. CISA 9 we had the first Wednesday, and that was on the 2nd as well. And we talked about the referendum things. Good presentation from Al Betry and his crew again for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Corey. Appreciate it. Mr. Bushman.
Just 2 quick comments. Recognition of Trevor and Mandy again and our main friends. We are fortunate in our district. We do have amazing students, and they're on display. It's amazing to see. And I was also going to just thank Joanna for her service and for all the board members. Being a board member can be an absolutely thankless job. It is not the lucrative event, speaking of misinformation that people have, that they think board members earn this high salary. It's nearly donating all of their time for problems and challenges. So I thank Joanna, I thank all the board members for their part in our district.
Well said. Thank you. I would like to put the district activity report in the official record. Take care of that. And with that, pressing for a closed session. I'm seeking a motion to enter a closed session to discuss consideration of the contracts for preliminary notice of non-renewal, state statutes 19.851C, and regarding potential litigation 19.85G.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Sarah Brock.
Yes.
Pat McKee.
Yes.
Jennifer Paoli. Joanna Reyes.
Yes.
Jane Roosh. Corey Sillers.
Yes.
Lance Trollope.
Yes.
Jim Boucher.
Yes. Thank you very much, everybody.